Hey there. If you've ever tried to map out a qualitative study, you probably know that feeling, right? You're staring at this list of steps, and it feels less like a helpful guide and more like, well, a cage. Today, we're going to talk about a way to break out of that cage and embrace a much more dynamic way of thinking about research.
So many of us were taught that research design is this straight line. You do step 1, then step 2, then 3, and so on. You define your goals, write your questions, pick your methods, check, check, check. But let's be honest, it can feel super restrictive, like you're just ticking off boxes on a form.
And that really is the good question, isn't it? Is that all there is to it? I mean, does that rigid, step-by-step process actually capture the real, messy, and often brilliant reality of doing good qualitative research? The source material we're diving into today makes a really strong case that no, it absolutely doesn't.
So what if we just reframed the whole thing? Instead of thinking of it like a one-way street, what if we pictured it as a living, breathing system, a system where every single part is in constant conversation with all the other parts? Now that's the idea we're going to dig into.
To help us get there, the source offers this fantastic metaphor. Think of your research design not as a simple to-do list, but as an architect's blueprint. You know, a blueprint shows how everything, the foundation, the walls, the wiring, it all connects and supports each other to create one solid, coherent structure. And that's exactly what this integrative model is. It's the blueprint for your study. It's not about just finishing one step and moving on, never looking back. No, it's all about understanding that a decision you make over here is going to ripple out and affect everything else. And at the very heart of this blueprint, there are 5 core components. 5 absolutely crucial interconnected pieces that, together, form the foundation of any really strong qualitative study. All right, so let's break these down. Let's look at what these 5 components actually are. Each one is basically designed to answer a really fundamental question you have to tackle when you're building your research. First up, you've got your goals. This is the bedrock. This is your why. Not just what you're studying, but why you're studying it. Why does this research actually matter? And maybe most importantly, who is going to care about what you find? This is what justifies the entire project from the get-go. Second, we have the conceptual framework. I love this one. Think of it as the glasses you're wearing, your interpretive lens. It's all the theories, the existing research, even your own beliefs and experiences that are shaping how you see things. It's your starting point, but, and this is key, it is not set in stone. Component number 3. Your research questions. These are the engines driving your entire study. They grow directly out of your framework, and they pinpoint exactly what it is you don't know yet. They're all about defining those gaps in our understanding that your study is hoping to fill. Then we get to number 4, the methods. This is the practical, boots-on-the-ground part. This is what you're actually going to do. It covers everything: how you're going to collect your data, who you'll talk to, what specific techniques you'll use to actually make sense of it all. The real nitty-gritty. And finally, number 5 is validity. You know, this is really all about intellectual honesty. It's the part that forces you to step back and ask, okay, how could I be wrong here? It's about actively looking for those other explanations and potential weaknesses to make sure your final conclusions are as solid and credible as possible. Okay, so we have our 5 components, but here's the thing. The real magic isn't just in the components themselves, it's in how they talk to each other. This is where the whole model just comes alive. And this slide just illustrates that shift in thinking perfectly. I mean, look, on the left, you've got the old way, that rigid, one-way street. A, then B, then C. But on the right, now that's the model from our source, an integrated system where everything is connected with two-way arrows. Every part informs every other part.
The source puts it so well. The goal is to build an integrated and interactive whole rather than a linear sequence. And what that really means is you're creating a design that's dynamic, it's responsive, it's not brittle and fixed.
So let's make this feel a bit more real. Just imagine you're out in the field doing interviews. That's your method, right? You might quickly realize that the question you thought was the right one, it's not quite getting to the heart of things. So you adjust. Your method of collecting data is actively reshaping and refining your research question as you go. Or hey, how about this one? Let's say you're doing your validity checks, you're challenging your own conclusions, and you stumble upon a really compelling alternative explanation for what you're seeing. That discovery might force you to go all the way back to the beginning and rethink your initial theories. It could totally challenge and expand your entire conceptual framework. You see how it's all connected in this big, beautiful loop?
So what's the big payoff here? Why should we think this way? Well, adopting this interactive blueprint-style approach has some really profound benefits for the quality of the research you produce.
At the end of the day, this matters for a few big reasons. First, it helps you create a much more coherent design, where every piece just fits together logically. It also builds in the flexibility you need to adapt as you learn new things, which, let's face it, is what qualitative research is all about. And maybe most importantly, by constantly checking how all these parts interact, you end up building a much stronger, more credible, more defensible case for your final conclusions.
So I guess I'll just leave you with this question to mull over for your own work. Is your research blueprint static, or is it alive? Because the difference between a simple checklist and a living blueprint, one that can grow and adapt and respond as your understanding deepens, well, that could be the difference that truly matters.